that needed to be read.
Was it difficult for the crew to work on this movie with its unremitting horror at the center of it?
Everybody. I mean, the crew, the cast, and I think the most amazing thing is even the Poles who we used as extras. I think Polish people who didn't know very much about the Holocaust and didn't know very much about their own country learned so much from what we were telling and had such an amazing change of just the knowledge that they gained from working on the film really showed me that there was not education in Poland. Young kids were not being told about their own country and what their country was used for by the Nazis between 1939 and 1945. And I saw Polish people working with us changed because of what they were learning.
You said a moment ago that you didn't see the film as entertainment, but actually people must feel a want to see it if you're to persuade them to come into the cinema to see it. And it is a story which holds the attention and leaves something on people.
I think entertainment is a very subjective thing. I mean, you could watch an Andy Warhol movie, which is somebody sleeping for 9 hours, and some people could consider that entertainment. Others could consider it, a way to go to sleep. And I never looked at the story, the recreation of the Holocaust, and the story of Schindler's List to be entertaining. I thought it was going to be informational. I thought that the story was going to give out information and knowledge and facts that would get people, if they responded to this story, to get people to ask more questions about what happened 50 years ago. And I never really entertained the notion that there could be anything entertaining about this particular story. I haven't been anti-entertaining in the making of the film. I've just actually, in a way, the best thing I've done with this movie is I've gotten out of the way of the film. I left all my stuff at home, and I told the story without imposing my own style or whatever I brought to my other pictures. I've done my best to stay out of the way of Schindler's List, so it wouldn't be entertaining in the sense my other films have been entertaining.
But it is entertaining in the sense that it tells a story, and that movie and that story, you hope, moves people.
Yeah, I hope a story moves people. Once again, I think it's semantics here about what's entertainment. I hope it moves people to, not to say, well, what can I do about it because this happened 50 years ago. I hope, if anything, gets people to realize that it was one of the reasons I made the movie in 1993, that what's happening in Bosnia today, the word ethnic cleansing, so familial with final solution, and just what's really happening in the world today with, neo-fascism, neo-Nazism, just the rise of all that, the toleration. People were again tolerating what they tolerated in 1933, and it's sort of happening again in microcosm. And I when this started to happen in 1989, 1990, when communism fell apart and the wall came down, and all these things started to rear their ugly heads again, I just seemed a little more compelled to make the movie now than wait another 5 years to make the picture.
In your other movies, in several of them, children feature large. We learn the story through a child's eyes. Why is that? Is that something that helps you particularly as a movie maker?
Well, it's also been my frame of reference. I identify with children. I still am a child. I have a lot of empathy and understanding of what it is like to be a kid, and I think it's been very easy and safe for me to tell most of my stories through the point of view of very wondrous eyes. It's been actually it's been the color ink I use in my pen.
You're 46 years old. You've been twice married. You're a huge success in one of the most popular and industrial mediums of the world of communication. How can you say I am still a child?
I can without shame. I really am. I have 5 children. If anything has caused me, by the way, to grow up, to prepare myself to make Schindler's List, it's been the fact that I now have 5 kids. And that even though I thought my fantasy was that I would have a second childhood through my children, when your kids get to be a certain age, they draw the line. And you're on one side and they're on the other. And you are the adult, and you cannot be any. They don't want a peer. They don't want a friend. They can get that in school. You must be the father, and they must be the child, and they are rigid about that. You know that sort of what you call that, the the Maginot Line. And if anything has really caused me to grow up quickly in the last 4 years, it's been my children.
How can the rest of us preserve that childishness in ourselves?
I don't know. I mean, I have sort of I like to call it a kind of, blind optimism about things. Excuse me. I'm always, I'm more hopeful than not, and the glass is half full, not half empty. I mean, I've always been that way. I think, in a strange, easy, soundbite way that that has sort of kept the child, going a bit longer.
The poet told us that the child is father to the man. You sound as if you believe that.
I do believe that.
Did you have a happy childhood?